Hello, you're welcome to my channel. If this is the first time I'm coming across our video, you're welcome. Here we make video tutorials on sewing and DIYs. So today we're going to be learning how to make a 6-piece skirt. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always tuning in. So you can use this your handle to reach us on any of our platforms. For this tutorial, you need an Ankara fabric or crepe fabric. It's not a must you use only Ankara for 6 pieces, okay? So your sewing, your scissors and your tape. So I have to break it down for you to understand what we're gonna do. 6 pieces is your fabric, you cutting your piece, you're dividing some part of your body into 6 to derive whatever measurement you want to derive. So for this, we're using the waistline, the hip line, and the knee measurement. Though I didn't show the knee parts here, but I'm going to illustrate. I'm going to say it by word so you understand. So to get your knee measurement, you just have to divide -1 or 1.5 from your hip line to achieve your new measurement. So that being said, now let's go straight to it. One thing you must take note of is your nipple pan. It is going to play a big role here, which is a static measurement you need for this. For this particular method, I'm going to teach you. But by the end of the video, I'll also show you another method. There are 2 methods. I know how to do this, but I'm going to use this method. So let's divide the waist measurement. We're going to divide the waist. Now we're focusing on the front panel, okay? For the front panel, we're going to divide the waist into 2. If you divide the waist into 2, the waist I'm working with is 38. 38 divided by 2 is going to give me 19 for the waistline. Then the hip line is 46. 46 divided by 2 will give me 23 for the hip line, the hip measurement. So I'm going to impute the hip measurement, which is 23 divided by 2. Like I said, I'm using the front panel to do the whole work, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead to minus my nipple pan, which is the middle point, like your dart point. Yeah, I'm going to minus it from the 19 that I have. Remember, it's your waist divided by 2, right? That I'm working with. So if I minus it from there, I'm going to have I'm going to have 11, right? So that means when I remove 8.5 from the 19 I have 11. So 11 I'm going to divide that 11 by 2 because I'm going to spread it on the side seam of the hip waistline, right? Which is a 2 panel, right? So I'm going to divide it by 2 and I'm going to have 5.5, right? So that 5.5 is going to be what will be on the side, the waistline, the 2 sides of the waistline there. Okay, so now we're going to work on the hip. I'm still dividing while I've said what I'm working on, okay? So you divide it by 2 and you get it. If you have any question, please drop it in the comment section. I will send to you as soon as possible. As soon as I read your message, I will get back to you, okay? So, or you just use the handle to send me a DM on my Instagram and I will respond to you fast. I respond fast in all my social media platform. So now let's work for the hip. We're done with the waistline. For the hip line is the same method. I'm going to -8. Please note that that leg is different. Your nipple pan is different from every other person. So use your measurement, please. I always emphasize on that. Use your measurement. So I'm going to -8 from my hip line, which is the 23 that I got. You know, we divided our hip, we're working on the front panel, right? I don't want to explain too much so I don't confuse you, okay? So the hip divided by 2, I have 23. 23 minus 8 will give me 15, right? 15 minus 15 divided by 2 will give me 7.8. Okay, so that is what I am using for this part. Please, in case just do your use your measurement to do the division, right? Okay, so that is the part I'll be working on. That's what I need for my hip measurement and my waist measurement. So for the waist, I have 5.5 by the side. For the hip, I have 7.5. Okay. So now I'm going to show you another method to to do your 6 pieces. Okay. Another method is this. You're going to divide your waist measurement into six, sorry. You know, a 6 pieces panel. You're going to divide your waist into six. Whatever you get from there will be what you will distribute in your waistline for the 3 panels of your waistline, right? Then for the hip line, you're going to divide it into six as well. Whatever you have will be what you will be cutting on fold. You're going to be cutting it with, right? So your knee circumference, I said how to get your knee circumference, you're going to minus, either you minus 1.5 or 1 inch, depending on how silhouette, like how tight you want the hip line to, how shapy you want it. Okay. So you can do 1.5, you can do 1, you can try to do, yeah, that's the perfect one I know how to work. I've never worked with 2 before, but if you work with and whatever result you get, please let me know. So when you do that, you're going to have the circumferences you need to distribute around your panels. Okay. So for this, I divided my waist by 6. I got 6.5 or so. Yeah. The hip was accurate. I divided by 6. I got 7.5 or thereabout. Yeah. So you know the variation. My mathematics is really very good. So just, yeah, work with what your result and you're going to distribute it. You see, that's what the answers I got for it. You see that they are almost accurate. The only difference is I like using this other method because I don't like the shape the second method gives on the skirt. It gives it this, like, this kind of very curvy. I don't like it, especially in the middle point around the hip line. So I always like to use this first method. Okay. So if you try the second method, let me know what you get. Okay. So now it's that we've gotten all this. This is what we're going to use to cut the fabric. So let's cut the fabric. So you will need close to like 4 yards or 3 yards. Some persons do well. 6 pieces consumes fabric. Okay. Fabric you work with depending on your body size as well. So we're going to fold our fabric into 2. Now I'm going to cut the center front first. The center front first, the middle one in the center front. That is what I'm cutting first. So I need, for the wideness of the tail, like the wideness of the down that I need, I'm going to do 10. That includes my sewing allowance. Note that if you want it fuller on the down part, you're going to use more measurement. Instead of 10, you can use 15. My boss does 15 for hers because she always like it very full, like this man-made kind of shape, the person that taught me. So but here I'm trying to minimize, to manage the fabric, so I'm using 10. You can do 8 will still come out fine. So for the down part, now the middle part, I'm going to distribute those measurements. I'm going to now measure my waist to my knee point, which is 17. It's 17, and 17 works perfectly well for every body size. 17 is okay. Your knee measurement, you just go up by 2 inch or 2.5. It will give you the same, almost the same thing. So now I'm going to impute my that. Okay. Then for the new line, I corrected it later in the video, but I'm going to show you. Whatever you are putting here, you're going to minus, like the waist, the that is 4. You're going to 4.5. Yeah, you're going to minus 1 from it. So whatever you have is what you put at the knee point to give it that shapy, that um snatched flow that you need, right? Okay. So because I'm cutting directly on the fabric as well, my whatever measurement I'm putting 0.5 there, okay? So that is my sewing allowance, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to connect it down to the baseline. You remember my baseline is 10 that I use. Like I said, you can do more than 10, you can do 15, you can do 13, you can do 12, you can do 11, you can do 9, you can do 8, depending on the fabric you're working with and how full whoever, if it's for yourself, how full you want it, or for the client, how full the client wants it, okay? Or the shape you want to achieve with it. Yeah. So now I'm just going to connect it so that it doesn't have it gives it that shape that it needs, right? So I am going to cut out for the front. When I'm done cutting this front, then I'm going to use it to cut the middle part of the center front of the back as well, the back center front as well, okay? If you find our video helpful, please do it to like and share and drop a comment. It helps the video, okay? That's the best thing you can do for any content creator. Drop a comment and like, then share. So here I am cutting. If you have a heavy whatever, maybe a stone, you can use it to hold the fabric down so that it doesn't move, so you have accurate cutting, okay? Since you cannot basically pin this particular place. So like I said, I want to cut the one for the back. Please take note, you need to be very I don't know how to put it, to do this. So for the middle point of the back, I extended, for the other side of it, I did 5 inches, okay? So for the hip line, I am going to mark 0.5 on the hip line, right? As you see me do there, 0.5 there. So I'm just going to connect it back to the waistline. From that 0.5, connect back to the waistline, then to the new point. So for the zipper allowance, I did, for the hip line, I did 1.5. For the waist, I did 1. The knee point, I did 1. Then I'm just connecting that one to the 5 that I extended. But if you want it fuller, for the baseline, I did 5 on the other side. That's the zipper side of the this thing. If you want it fuller, you can add more than 5, but you can do 10. Again, 10 on that side, 10 on that side, depending on like the shape you want to get. Like here, I was just trying to economize, like manage the fabric, okay? So I just connected those points together. I'm connecting back to the hip for the side, the middle side, which is the center front side. I did that 0.5 I did there was for ease. Now, you know, I have 0.5 here, I have 0.5 again on the zipper allowance. That's going to accommodate your butt, like your bum bum. Yeah, to give it a fuller, give you that full, you can see the video of the person there, give you that full this thing and accommodate it, and then you can sit properly. It won't hold you. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what work. Don't worry, it's not going to affect, it's not going to make your cloth bulky, right? It's just going to give ease to your boot. So I'm just going to connect and cut out. So we're done with the center front of the back and the center front of the front. So I'm just going to notch my zipper allowance there. Then I will notch my new point for the center front. I also have my reason for notching this is so I know where to align, where to, and also where that's where I want my lining to stop as well. Okay, so I will notch the other part of it, and we'll proceed to cut for the side, same of the dress, like the same allowance side of it. We're done with the middle part of the skirt. So I want to make a correction here, which I said before, but here is where I did the correction. I'm going to just go in from that knee point. I'm going to go in by 1 inch and just reconnect it back. Okay. So you will now see that it's giving it that curve, like, you need it for the um new part of the dress. It has like the hip comes and it flows in, like it's giving like this silhouette kind of snatch flow. Then from the main hip new point, the dress extended out. Okay, if you do 17, you get it on that basic point. But if you use normal waist to knee, basically some persons standard waist to knee is 20, right? Some persons are 22, but standard, if you're making a general cloth, 20 works for almost everybody. So if you snatch it at that point, you will not have ease to move. That's why you have to go up 2.5 or 2 inch away from your nail point to put that snatch you need for there, that flow, that curvy flow you need for there, if that makes sense. Okay. And I want to say thank you to all my returning subscribers for sticking this close. Thank you so much. So we're done with this part. Just giving it, like redefining it. If I had done it the earlier time, it would give me the actual. So this, I thank God I remembered to, and I did it before I started sewing. Even though I started sewing, I may not have been able to remember to bring it up to your notice. So please take the correction and thank you so much for your patience. So now I'm going to turn the center front like so. You see, this side now is going to be this side that the center front is in. This other curvy part is going to be the middle point that is going to meet the other middle point. So do well to notch it when you're done cutting. Notch only that part and don't notch the other part of the zipper side. That's the same side, okay? Because it may confuse you when you're joining the fabric. So that notch will help you indicate where it's joining to the middle point and where it's not joining to the middle point, okay? So now for the hip part of this part, I also did the same. I added 0.5 for ease, right? I'm connecting it back to the new point, right? So just like so. And I'm defining the new point like that. Then I will cut out that part. When I'm done cutting it, I will now insert my waist measurement, my hip measurement, then add my sewing allowance for the side seam. And we are almost done. Now I'm going to impute my waist measurement and my sewing allowance. That's my waist, my hip measurement and sewing allowance. Please don't forget to add ease on the other side before you start imputing your hip measurement. The ease for the for to accommodate your butt that I did, right? So I impute my 7.5 on, added my sewing allowance. Then for here, whatever I have on the waist, the hip line, I minus 1 inch and I imputed it there. And then I'll add my sewing allowance as well. Then the extension you cut, when you cut it this way, you already have your 10 inch on the baseline in this other side. Then on the other side again, you're going to impute your 10 inch again, okay? Or you can do 8, okay? Yeah, but it should be close to the one on the middle side, or accurate with the middle side, but not more than it, because if not, it will give it a weird kind of shape. Yeah. And if you're working with, Ankara is 45 inch. If you're working with a longer fabric, maybe like a crepe fabric. If you want, you can even do a tail to it, or make the down, you make it longer, then you can curve. Yeah, I think I didn't show that part. If you want it curvy, you can make it a bit curvy by going up by 0.1 on the baseline, then curve it back to the middle point. Okay, so this is what we have. So you're going to cut out your lining, stopping at the knee point, or you can do a full lining, right? You can turn your pieces on a full lining. Then a way to cut your lining also, I have joined the panels, the front panel to the side zip of the middle part of the side zip, the zip side to the other same allowance side of this side. Then I will now cut my lining. Like I was saying, you can choose to cut your lining the same way you cut the this thing, join it that way and cut, or you join your panels first, then you cut out the lining. My lining is stopping at the new point, which is where I notched that time. So go ahead and sew your lining to your panels, and we'll come back to show you what we have. And when you sew yours with your 0.5, make sure you iron flat before you cut your lining and before you now join them. This is a dress, but the down part was what I showed you. So I have measured, I have input all my measurements. You can see it. Then when we come to the knee line, this place is very important. You remember that the sewing allowance we added at the new point was 0.2, right? 2 inch, sorry. So you're going to impute that 2 inch there. After you've measured your new measure, after you've minus from your new point, you minus your hip measurement 1 inch from your new point. That's when you impute your new measurement, right? Then you now put that 2 inch. You see that point, you put that 2 inch there, your 2 inch allowance, whatever allowance you use, 2 inch, 1 inch, whatever allowance, impute it there. Then you sew. But when you're sewing towards the down part, make sure you extend your hands outward, not inward, because the down is meant to come, it's meant to be tight from the, like giving like this silhouette shape and flowing out, okay, to give it that curve. And yeah, we are done. Give this video a thumbs up, like, follow for more, and this is the result of what we made, and she loved it. Yeah, thank you for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.